Okay, there we are. I was a little slow on the uptake, but here we are live and direct from Pot Feed Studios.
I'm telling you, it is. Expect mistakes, and as we were saying to the live audience, the chat room, man, so much in our brains right now. Our CS overload is real. It's if we miss a beat here and there, don't be in the least bit surprised.
Yeah.
Steve even forgot to say there was a live show today. So
yeah, this is interesting. I'm hearing 2, and I have Discord muted. How is that?
Does anybody else hear me twice?
Yeah. Do we have that? It wouldn't be that problem where I'm feeding back into your mic. There was more of a delay when that was happening. Only once? Okay,
yeah.
So it must be at my end.
I hear you once. You sure? You sure Discord's muted?
Discord is 0%. If I turn it up, what happens here? All right.
Hello, hello, hello. Do you hear me 3 times?
Talk again?
Talking. I'm singing.
You know, it's almost like Discord isn't obeying, or SoundSource isn't obeying. I can work. I can live with this. It's not bad.
Okay. I do it in the menu bar. I just have it visible in the menu bar, and I put an X through it. Mm-hmm. Is that how you do it?
No, I do it in the menu, the full menu. Anyway, let's not dwell on it. We can move on.
Okay, just real quickly, I hit the speaker button, and it turns red with an X on it instead of dragging it to 0. Try that.
Okay. Well, when I do that, everything silences my mic, my speaker, everything.
No. Here, I'm going to put it in the chat room so people can see what I'm talking about. So do you see, just on Discord, I hit the speaker button and it turns red. And that's what mutes it. I don't drag it to 0.
Well, let me try that. Okay, talk.
I'm talking.
No, still
there? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I hope it's not very loud.
No, it's not too bad.
Okay. Alrighty. Are we ready?
No.
Is that what you're saying?
No, I think
No?
you need to do a roll call.
Well, nobody told me to do roll call.
Well, I'm telling you right now.
Well, that's good. All right. Tiny but mighty, we have Kevin and Jill and Ed and John and Sandy and Steve. You really do need to make that announcement, Steve.
I guess it is a little skinny, but we have the dedicated here with us tonight.
Exactly.
The core group.
The real
so
heroes.
Speak.
All right. I'm going to get us started.
All right.
Die Hard, that's a good Christmas movie. All right. Here we go. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeet.com, a technology geek podcast with an ever so slight Apple bias. Today is Sunday, January 12th, 2025, and this show is... Nope. It is so a Christmas movie. They even say ho, ho, ho in it. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeet.com, a technology geek podcast with an ever so slight Apple bias. Today is Sunday, January 12th, 2025, and this is show number 1027. We've been getting a lot of people asking if Steve and I are okay in Los Angeles with all of the fires. I do want to assure you that we're fine for now. The fires are about 12 miles away from us, so we're not super worried about it. But I do want to say that our hearts go out to everyone who's been affected by this horrible, horrible tragedy. Before we get started, if you were looking for the standalone version of Chit Chat Across the Pond with Bart from last week, when he talked about what it's like to be a cybersecurity specialist, it is now available in your podcatcher of choice. In all the excitement and work to get ready for CES, somehow I forgot to push it to the feed. Since I forgot to push Bart's episode last week, my automation gave me the wrong episode for this week's Chit Chat Across the Pond with Andrea Jones-Roy. Both episodes say in the audio that they're number 805. I've now labeled them correctly in the titles, but I wanted to clear up any confusion that may have created by that little mistake. You will, of course, hear Andrea this week, and it is a fantastic interview. Now, since you're listening to the NosillaCast, you may never have noticed this mistake, but I personally needed the closure.
Do you feel closed? You feel closed?
I do.
Oh,
I was very confused. I asked my little automation, next chit chat across the pond, and it said 8:05. And then when I went to post it, I'm like, wait a minute, there's two 8:05s. Actually, the blog post gets entitled by that number, and the blog post said 8:05-2. That means there's already another one. I'm like, what is the other one? And I go up and I find Bart. And I'm like, how did it get it wrong? It's because I forgot to push it to the feed. So it was everywhere, but actually in the chit chat feed. So, all right, we have saved. All right, I'm not going to do all different bumpers. I'm going to do the one bumper.
All right, that's up to you.
It's too much work to do different bumpers. Let's see. No, not that one.
That's the Jerry Seinfeld bumper.
Yeah, I don't know which is the right one. I don't know how to remember. Upright bass. Okay, upright bass is like my brother, except the other one sounds like my brother. Did the closure. Okay. Oh, got to bring up the next one. Oh, did I do a chapter mark? I did not.
It is time.
Oh, where is the... Okay, that one. Chapter mark. Yeah, you're going to have to watch me on every single step here, guys. Just like everything. There's likely to be mistakes. All right, now I'm ready. Nope, I'm not. Come on. Well, Steve and I are back from CES, and as always, it was a whirlwind of activity. Now, unlike most people, I actually get fewer steps in when I go to CES than I do when I'm at home. Tells you what a beast I am on the exercise front, right? Well, our brains are absolutely packed full with information. We've been making a few little mistakes here and there, like I mentioned earlier, so we'll get things going, I think, pretty quickly. Now, when Steve and I go to CES, it's a bit different than you might expect if you watch the big coverage of the show. You know, while the big outlets talk about massive TVs, we like to seek out smaller vendors with either products we know will be relevant to the audience or maybe simply unique and interesting. Also, the weird ones always catch my eye. And we get these interviews primarily from 3 press events that start even before CES ever begins. While the massive convention halls open on Tuesday, we arrive on Saturday afternoon in Las Vegas. We like to take Sunday to visit friends like Sandy Foster, my wingwoman, in the live chat room. In addition to getting to see Sandy, we go to a lot of the events with Dave Hamilton and Pete Harmon of the Mac Geek Gab, Chuck Joyner and Norbert Frost of Mac Voices. We also had dinner with JF Brissett, who's my editor at Screencast Online. It was so great to catch up with all of them. A special bonus prize this year was that Bodie Grimm of the Kilowatt podcast was there, and I got to be on Daily Tech News Show with him, Tom Merritt, and Rob Dunwood, along with Anthony Lamos, their producer. It was so great to see all of these wonderful friends. Now, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday nights, we go to the press events called Unveiled, PepCom, and Showstoppers. These are each in large ballrooms with maybe like 150 or so vendors that are handpicked and pay extra to be there. This year, we got into a 4th press event, which was much smaller. It was called Everything Tech. It only had about 15 to 20 vendors, but nearly every one of them had something interesting to offer. Now, Steve Ewell is the director of the CTA Foundation. They have a mission to link seniors and people with disabilities with technologies that enhance their lives. The CTA Foundation, get that right. By the way, I screwed up. I have lost the image of Sandy. Remind me at the end of the show to put this picture back in the show notes. I don't know how I lost it, but it wasn't in there.
Will do.
That's Sandy. That enhance their lives. The CTA Foundation is a public national foundation affiliated with the Consumer Technology Association, CTA, and that's the people who put on CES. So Steve also happens to be a NosillaCastaway. Because I know a guy, we were able to go on a tour with special presentations by 5 companies focusing on accessibility that the CTA Foundation chose to sponsor for CES 2025. Now, we didn't end up interviewing all of them, but I think we chose 4 of the 5 to bring them to you because they look like terrific ideas. Over the course of 4 days of CES, Steve and I recorded a grand total of 57 interviews. This is a new personal record for us. At roughly, let's say there's 6 minutes apiece, that's nearly 6 hours of content. Now, the good news is we are not going to inundate you with CES interviews for 6 straight hours. Instead, we like to push out the content, maybe 3 or 4 videos a week. That kind of keeps it manageable for us, mostly Steve, and it leaves me breathing room to bring you more of the normal NosillaCast content you've come to know and love. As a little inside baseball, I'd like to describe the process of bringing you this content. To record the content for you, Steve uses his big boy video camera. It's a Panasonic 4K camera mounted on a monopod. On the cold shoe, or is it the hot shoe? Steve, is it a hot shoe or cold shoe?
It's a cold shoe because it doesn't
provide power?
It doesn't provide power. I don't think it provides power.
Okay. On the cold, I had you check this. That's right. Save. On the cold shoe of the camera, he has an Audio-Technica receiver that takes the audio signal from a wireless handheld Audio-Technica microphone that I use to record both me and the interviewee. Every day when we get back to the hotel room, he downloads the videos to his MacBook Pro in the morning so we have a backup. We have an Airtable database I created years ago, and that lets us record all of the information from every one of the interviews. With Airtable, you can create an input form to populate the database instead of having to deal with 100 fields in a gigantic kind of spreadsheet-looking view. I created a form that has just the relevant fields for the business cards I collect. While Steve is downloading and labeling the videos on his laptop, I busily enter all the cards from the previous evening's recordings. Now, it's important that I do these first thing in the morning. If I procrastinate at all, I'll be looking at a business card that says something like Vivu, and I'll have no idea what the product was. But if I do it quickly enough, we can usually remember what each of them were. Now, when we get home, that's where Steve does, I'd say, at least 80% of the work, and I'm kind of more in a support role. He fills in a lot more fields in the Airtable, like the duration of the videos, the play order as we choose them, and more. For each of the, say, 3 to 4 videos per week, he opens them in Final Cut Pro on his Mac Studio. His first step is to export the audio of the recording to an uncompressed AIFF, and that's sent to my Mac so I can play it for you on the podcast. Once the original audio has been captured, that's when he starts working on the video. He tops and tails it, as Don McAllister would say, by adding the music and video graphics he created for the show years ago. He creates a lower third with the name of the person I interviewed and their company name, taking all of that from the Airtable database. He then uploads the video to YouTube, and he creates the information you see about the video explaining the product. After he has the video posted on YouTube, he then embeds that video on a podfeet.com blog post so you don't have to go to YouTube to hunt for it. But of course, if you're already on YouTube, you can find it there. He also writes all of the promotional messages for social media, and finally, he updates the database in Airtable to show that he has posted to all of those services. At this point, you might be wondering whether I do anything at all for the first few months of the year. It kind of reminds me of when my father discovered that Steve does 90% of the cooking for Thanksgiving, and he said, "What do you do around here anyway?" Well, anyway, yeah, he was a great guy. But anyway, part of the magic of using a database to track all of this is that we can create different views of the same data. There are a lot of fields I don't care about in the database, so I hide all of those from the Allison view. I also created a view called Allison Needs Action, and in there I was able to set up some conditional situations. If any of the following conditions are not met, the record for that interview will still show for me in this Allison Needs Action view. If Podfeet hasn't been added from the dropdown to Mastodon or Threads, or Allison hasn't reposted in her personal Facebook account, then I'll see the record. When everything is complete, the last step I do is email the person I interviewed and their marketing or PR rep to tell them the video is available. Of course, I have a text expander snippet to create those emails, and I just kind of fill in the blanks and add any little flavor I want to the particularly fun interviews. So the last step in the Airtable database is a checkbox to show that I've sent the email. As soon as I finish that last social media or email step in the database, the record disappears from Allison Needs Action, and I can tell that I'm done. To be perfectly honest, going through this part of it, I actually have trouble keeping up with Steve because he's doing so much so quickly. Now, we're testing out an improvement for CES 2025, and that's to add both a transcript and closed captions to the videos. My thought was that by having so much of the content be video and audio with no real blog post, I'm leaving out the part of the audience who love to read instead. I also wondered whether we could have a good closed caption set for the videos as well. The details of how we're doing the transcripts and closed captions are going to be in a standalone blog post and article that I'll read to you, but I'll give you a little bit of the flavor of what we're doing. With the NosillaCast, Chit Chat Across the Pond and Programming by Stealth, I run the entire audio file through the Auphonic interface, which does a lot of things to process the audio. But as a bonus prize, it also gives me a full transcript of the podcast that I link to in the show notes. It generates a summary and chapter marks for the shows that don't already have them. I don't promise any work has been done on this file, so you get it for free, and maybe it's great, maybe it's not. But for these short videos, and maybe for the short interviews, like say when I chat with Pat Dengler or Jill from the North Woods about a topic, I wanted something a bit more tailored. On the videos today, you'll see a transcript that I've done some tender loving care to produce, but still using somewhat automated tools. The same software can produce a closed caption file in .srt format that Steve can then embed in the YouTube videos. There are automated generated captions in YouTube, but we wanted to make sure they were very precise. There were some tricky bits of figuring out how to create it in the correct format within the software I'm using, and the order in which I create the closed captions versus the transcript, and how Steve would embed it. But I think we have it sorted into a pretty seamless workflow. We've only done 3 of them, but it started to get easier as we did more and more of them. Now, just to make sure I don't forget what I learned this week, I whipped out my trusty software Folga from folga.me and created a step-by-step guide with screenshots to remind myself next week. Now, if you like the transcripts and or the closed captions, please do let me know, because it is extra work. Heck, even if you think they could be better, let me know that too. The bottom line is that we had a great time at CES seeing all of our friends, and we worked really hard to get a lot of fantastic content for you, most of which you won't find elsewhere. Rob Dunwood put it best when he said he wanted to follow us around to see what we do. After observing 3 or 4 interviews in progress, he said, "I understand. All I need to do is get me a Steve. Maybe AI can make me one." There we go. I am going to fix that mistake right now. That I found one extra image, and I thought I deleted it. I didn't realize it was the one of Sandy. Let me stick it in now.
Where that was.
Yeah, can't leave Sandy out.
Will you be uploading it?
Yeah, there it is. And actually, it gives me a chance to fix something.
Folga is Folge, John. So it's
yes.
folga.me, Folge.
Yeah, it's German. It means follow. So follow me, like you follow a guide. And it's got a picture of a taxi on the icon. I got to write my alt text.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, Folga. Who knows what you'll get at Folga?
Uh-oh.
Go, Daddy. Oh.
Lucky for that. Okay, I just pushed.
All right.
Publish. But I've been hitting some slowdowns on Poppy. There it goes.
There it is, right up front. Excellent.
All right, good. All right. Chapter mark. Oh, this is an easy one.
Site not secure? Folga?
Did you do HTTPS? Anybody else checking in?
I got an HTTPS. It's .me, right, John?
Yeah, it's .me.
Folge.me. I have a secure site.
All right. Oh, I said folga.me, like follow me. The me part was.
So, kind of a combo of German and English in one URL. All right.
There should be, if you look around, do a search on Podfeet about Folga. I've got some articles on it. I haven't used it in a while, and it's really improved a lot. It's by a Ukrainian developer who is by far, like by 20%, the most responsive developer I've ever met in my life. He loves feedback, just like craves it with every fiber of his being. He wants you to tell him what's wrong and what he could make better. I've never seen anything like it. He sends out emails saying, come on, I'm not getting enough feedback. Tell me what I can do better. And Folga.mish.
Mish must be me in German.
Yeah. In fact, he apologized for making me wait 3 days for a response one time. It was while he was evacuating his parents from Ukraine.
Wow. No apology necessary.
That's what I said. All right. This is going to be quick. Oh, bumper. Well, if you've been following along with my Tiny Mac Tips series in text form or listening to them in the podcast, but you'd like to actually see some of them in video tutorial form, you're in luck. My latest Screencast Online video tutorial dropped, and it's called Tiny Mac Tips 4. Remember my disclaimer. While you can get a free 7-day trial of Screencast Online to watch this tutorial and the current back catalog, you may find out that you love this service and want to join by going to screencastonline.com. In this fourth round of Tiny Mac Tips, I teach you how to get access to more display resolutions, use Quick Look to triage files, use your iOS device to scan documents directly into your Mac, and uncover all of the hidden capabilities of the dock. That looks like garbage. What is wrong with this? Oh, those aren't.
What looks like garbage?
It's not. The bullet points, the first set of bullet points is all poopy.
They look fine here.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they look good.
No, it wasn't. Trust me. They were garbage.
It wasn't trust me. All right.
There, fixed it. The first 4 bullets were all in a row in a sentence because they were not bullets. They were typed bullets. They weren't asterisks, so the markdown wasn't working.
Okay.
Okay, I actually want to move my chapter mark to where I actually start talking. I think
you didn't do that with your first one.
Didn't? Mm-mm. All right, well, let me do that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. All right, so here I'm going to drop in another one, and we'll put the chapter mark. Maybe I think I can do a start right about there. All right, what's our next chapter? Okay, oh, goody. I get to sit back and watch. So, this one's so fun. It's a robot comfort dog. Why didn't that work? That's weird. So this is Tombot. Abilities of the dock. Well, I couldn't possibly walk by a booth that had puppies in it, so I've stopped to see Thomas Stevens of Tombot.
Hi, I'm Tom Stevens. I'm CEO and co-founder of Tombot, and these young ladies are Jenny. Jenny is a fully interactive robotic emotional support animal inspired by my mother, who, after she was diagnosed with Alzheimer's dementia, I had to take away her dog for safety reasons. I looked around for substitutes for live animal companions. My mom hated everything that I brought home, so I realized there was a large gap in the market. Our first product is designed to treat the behavioral and psychological symptoms of dementia and reduce the need for certain medications, including psychotropics. And these puppies, our aim is for them to be the first puppies that are FDA medical devices.
So this is audio and video, well, obviously, but an audio-only podcast as well. So I'm looking at 2 little puppies here that look like little golden puppies, and they're moving their heads very naturally and look There's no uncanny valley here.
Exactly. So one of the things I studied, I went back to school and got a master's from Stanford before launching the company. I ended up studying the uncanny valley as part of my focus there. And what I realized is that human beings are very sensitive to the uncanny valley as we're dealing with other humans or humanoids. Primates have been studied where they're looking at other primates or primate-like things, and the uncanny valley is actually a very real reaction at fMRI.
But it's only between your own species? It's not as weird if it's a dog?
That was my hypothesis, that it was prominent in intra-species, but it would not be prominent inter-species. And so we tested this. We teamed up with Jim Henson's Creature Shop, the people behind Muppets and Sesame Street, and with their help doing our artistic design, we've created multiple generations of high-fidelity prototypes to figure out what seniors with dementia wanted. This one over here is actually our 5th-generation customer study prototype, but she's rather fragile. I have to cover her ears when I'm talking about her.
I thought that was cute. Yeah, I think that's solving a different problem. Jill, this is really about emotional support.
Well, in fact, he said they specifically designed it not to be mobile or move about because of trip hazard they've found with some of the elderly people with some issues. So they designed it to specifically be in a lap or sit on a table next to you.
Yeah, that was
or
not
on a couch.
That's not a bug, that's a feature.
Yeah, at least for this use case. So yeah, different use case dog, right? Although I would imagine it makes the design of the dog quite a bit simpler too, not having to design it to move about and walk in a realistic manner.
I want a different use case dog. They have those.
Just get a dog. Yeah, there you go. A little more care and upkeep.
Yeah, they
funny.
cost more.
Do you want to tell him what the guy did when he went to examine the dog?
Oh, yeah. I forget what I asked the dog to do.
How do you charge it?
No, he was explaining that the dog actually reacts to your hand. So where you pet the dog, it will react to that. So it's very, very much like a real dog. And I said, oh, I didn't notice it was doing that. And he goes, hang on, let me set it into that mode. And he lifts the tail up and starts poking around behind it.
What are you doing? It was funny.
All right. Let's see how this goes now.
Thank you so much. Thanks for visiting.
Who are working... Wait, sorry, that was me. My mother had macular degeneration, and this is a degenerative disease of the retina where you start to lose your central vision over time. It runs in my family and other family members as well. So I was very interested in Solid Vision, who are working on some glasses to maybe help people be able to see better who have macular degeneration. And I'm here with Madi Atia. I'm sorry, I'm going to get it right. Madi Atia. And he's going to tell us a little bit.
Actually, I can take that mistake out.
And I'm here with Madi Atia. I'm sorry, I'm going to get it right. Madi Atia.
No.
And he's going to tell us a little bit about this product.
Can I hold it?
He took the
Alison,
microphone from me.
Thank you for your interest. What Solid is doing is to develop smart glasses that would help people with partial damage to the retina, like macular degeneration, help them with true vision correction to restore sight.
So it's through smart glasses, and I think you've got some little displays here to talk about what it is. Yeah. Now, from a question Steve asked earlier when we did our preamble, I understand this is glasses that have basically a display on the inside of the glasses. So if you're wearing these, you wouldn't be able to see through it for now. But what's in that display?
So before we talk about the product, before we talk about the technology, let's talk a little bit about the human brain. Okay? So what we discovered, and I'm simplifying it, that much like the way our two eyes creating a stereotactic image, we look with two eyes, and in our brain we see one image, although we see it in 3D. You can accomplish that in one eye on the retina. So what we are doing, we are projecting 64 tiles of the same image in focus. That's the trick, in focus to the retina. And then the brain, even a healthy retina, the brain would take the 64 images and the visual.
So, Steve, I've just reduced the noise using Hindenburg. Do you think that's too much noise reduction? Because you can't hear the noise at all now.
Cortex would reconstruct one full image.
The thing I'm worried about is when Auphonic goes through and does its work, will it increase that noise floor? Or take that noise floor and increase it, you know?
The one that you've just reduced? I'm not sure.
If I don't remove the noise. If I leave the noise in the way you have it.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I think it's fine. The artifacts aren't too bad from what I'm hearing.
Yeah, let me see how it, back it up a little and listen to the end of the previous one. I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much. Thanks for visiting.
So those were quite different interviews. The noise level in the second one was much higher.
So this is going to apply the same exact noise reduction on both.
Okay.
So let's listen to Tom a little bit and tell me what you think. Sit around the office, maybe.
No, these you should see the museum in my office. It's getting a little crowded, but these.
Yeah, it's hard for me to hear because I'm getting this doubling and I can't focus on.
Do you want to listen to it in here?
No,
because I'm going to produce it.
I'll go with your ears. Go ahead. What sounds good
maybe
to you?
Maybe I'll put a little bit of it back. A little creepy, baby.
These are prominent. Much. Thanks for visiting.
My mother had macular degeneration, and this is a degenerative disease of the retina where you start to lose your central vision over time. It runs in my family and other family members as well. So I was very interested in Solid Vision, who are working on some glasses to maybe help people be able to see better who have macular degeneration. I think it's a little better. I turned it down some. Yes, I want both of those dogs, John. Thank you very much. Does he say in the interview, Steve, it was on air that he says this year, right?
Yes, I think he did say, although I couldn't imagine it given the prototype we were seeing, that it would be productized that soon. Yeah. So I didn't even...
That's why I was going to say something about it at the end, but I wanted to make sure that was on the air.
Okay.
I just thought of something. You know what? I need... That noise reduction is going to be on everything that I've recorded here too. So I think I need to move those two down.
Could you put them on a different channel?
Yes,
a different layer?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. And now I got to go listen to where I just put them. Yeah, so those need to be right there. And I need to turn that off here and turn that on here. And do it again, noise reduction. Capabilities of the dock. Well, I couldn't possibly walk by a booth that had puppies in it, so I've stopped to see Thomas Stevens of Tombot.
Hi, I'm Tom Stevens. I'm CEO and co-founder of Tombot, and these young ladies...
That's a little bit better. Let's this one. Oh, wait, let me make sure I got that right. Yeah, that looks okay.
Yeah, I would play it.
Thanks, dear.
Thank you so much. Thanks for visiting.
Not you, Siri. My mother had macular degeneration, and this is a degenerative disease of the retina where you start to lose your central vision over time. It runs in my family and other family members as well. So I was very interested in Solid Vision, who are... Okay.
Yeah, I am hearing some of those artifacts, but it's probably better.
You know what, though? I turned it all the way down. Mm-hmm. Listen, and it sounds artifacty still. So now there's no noise reduction.
Well, I had noise reduction.
Alison, thank you for your interest.
It runs in my family and other family members. You know, I think that's my voice sounds like poop.
Well, I also, when I produced the audio, when I produced the audio, I had noise reduction on, about 50%.
On that one?
On that one, not the other.
Okay. I'm going to do a little blurb here. Sure. Well, thank you very much, Monty. This is fantastic.
All right. Thank you.
Well, I really thought that was interesting. And I really, really, really hope he's right that they can actually get into production in 2025. I have to say that I think it's a big leap to picture a product that you're actually shipping based on the fact that we were looking at a sensor that was taped down to a piece of cardboard. Now, I know they had some goggles there, but they didn't let us actually look through them, the glasses. And maybe it was just because they didn't think it would be effective on us because we don't have any kind of degenerative eye diseases. But it still seemed really optimistic. I hope he's right. And even if it takes a year from now, that is still going to be an extraordinary achievement if this works out. Save. Thank you. And now we're going to go to the next one. Oh, I got to put in a bumper. And we're going to go right here. And that's what, oh, I got to put a chapter mark. I miss the chapter marks yet? Anybody?
I don't think so. Kevin would have spotted it.
I'm sure he would. Eagle Eye Kevin. He likes to find me making mistakes. So this is Monar, right?
Yeah.
All right, see how that goes. Extraordinary achievement if this works out. Well, we walked by what looks to be a... wrong track. Just right after doing that. Out. Well, we walked by what looks to be a picture frame that's got a lot of different graphics going on it, but I think it's also a speaker. So I'm here with Ben Yu from Monar to tell us all about it.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. So I'm Ben from Monar, and the product is called the Monar Canvas Speaker. So first of all, it's a canvas that we have over 50,000 of masterpieces that you can display on the screen.
So he's got a phone in his hand, and he's bringing up the map. This is an odd product. I don't know what problem it's solving. Do you, Steve?
Yeah, it was odd, but I could see the appeal to some people. The way to describe it in a nutshell is this fully immersive experience for a combination of digital images, music, and lyrics. You could see maybe... what's weird is combining like art, famous art pieces by like masterpieces with music. So what I couldn't gather was, does this Monar device blend the two? Pick the music based on the painting, or do you assign it? That part wasn't clear to me. But what I did learn, and I didn't appreciate when we spoke to him, but reading the webpage, it can take a painting, a classic painting like the girl with the pearls shown there, and it could create variations of it and change them over time. Slight variations, like turn it into more of a sketch or maybe more impressionistic, kind of morph it a little bit. It can also create GIFs for certain paintings that might have motion implied, like a boat on a river or something like that. It actually can make the boat move. So you're modifying the classic art piece.
Maybe I should ask you this again and I record you.
No, I don't want to be held for these features because I'm not positive about them.
Well, the other thing is it can show the lyrics to the song you're listening to.
Right.
Which is a completely different thing than the whole art thing.
I think the lyrics are overlaid on the art piece. So you're getting the art plus some lyrics.
So you have to stand looking at a picture on a wall.
Yeah.
That's making music. I don't know. A lot of odd things about it.
Yeah, I would like to see it in actual use somewhere.
Yeah.
See how people take to it.
I don't know about that one. Okay. All right.
Oh, Mike just showed up. My goodness.
No, he's not. Mike's not here, man.
He's not here.
All right. Hey, where's Japan?
Yeah, Japan is not repped tonight.
They're not represented. Where are those guys?
Yeah. Maybe it's a holiday there in Japan.
Maybe. Have to tell them they were missed.
There you go. Mike just provided a full range of drinks.
Frank said he couldn't make it? Really?
Oh.
Huh. Frank O'Carroll, I assume you mean because we were talking about...
Japan.
I still need a money symbol sound, Steve.
I forgot about that. I can definitely get you some money sounds.
I looked for one and didn't find anything.
I'll get you one for the next show if you'd like. Can't get you it now, though.
I know. That's fine. On a business trip. Oh, okay, good. All right, here we go. Well, CES is a lot of work, as I've described, but it does also cost money. Hotel rates go through the roof during CES, and we don't even stay in high-end accommodations, I assure you. And the food is super expensive while we're there. Luckily, we drive and have an electric vehicle, so at least we're not paying for plane flights. If you get value from CES content we bring to the table, consider becoming a patron to help defray the costs. You can do that by going to podfeet.com/Patreon and choosing an amount that shows your level of appreciation. Alrighty. And do a little chit-chatty. Okay, if you guys do nothing else. Oh, Steve, on your workout tomorrow, you have to listen to Andrea Jones.
Will do. I have an assignment.
Where's the audio?
Well, I'm not going to be able to listen to it if you don't find it.
Where are you? Seriously, where is it? Are you sitting over and holding? Is that where you're hiding?
Sounds like she's in prison.
Where is she? I may have to go find it in. Oh man!
You gotta pay her bail. Get her out.
This is problematic. I think I'm gonna have to go to the server and pull it back. Unless it's this one. Then I can, so I'm gonna have to save here and open up a different one. Yeah, I hope I didn't edit this. Did I? I did. Oh, phooey. Shoot. Let me do this. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. Go down this end. I'll get rid of this. And get rid of this. And I'll do this. And I'll drag all that over there. And I'll export that. Stereo. And I'll put that in here. Andrea Jones Roy is a data scientist. She is a comedian. And she is a circus performer.
That's quite a combination.
She is a zillion % delightful. I mean, she's just absolutely amazing. Okay, let's go back here. Do not save those changes. And now if I go right here, now I should be able to go here and get Andrea. There she is.
Now, those are not on the noise reduction strip?
No. Phooey.
Well,
I
you
can't,
wouldn't have it.
I don't think you can hear it if I leave them both on the same track. And if I drop one down, I'm out of tracks. I may have to add another track. Let's see how this is. Wait. Chapter mark. I hear a cat. Do you have somebody purring in there?
I got a cat by the mic here.
Do you? I could hear her. Poor cats. We're going to try to get another dog soon. They've been so affectionate since Tesla passed away that it's been breaks my heart that they'll be so sad. And choosing an amount that shows your level of appreciation. I have become a major fangirl of Dr. Andrea Jones Roy. They're a data scientist and a stand-up comedian and a circus performer. I mean, how could they not be fun, right? Andrea is a professor at the New York University Center for Data Science, and in that capacity, they created a 20-part video series called Data Science for Everyone. Now, they're not kidding. This is the best part. The video series is free. I thought, hey, I'll give it a try. I ended up watching all 20 episodes of this video series, and I loved every single minute of it. And Andrea also includes a free online written textbook, but I am going to confess I did not read that book yet. And I didn't do any of the homework that they told us to. Anyway, with that, welcome to the show from your favorite teacher's pet, Andrea.
Hi, it's so nice to finally meet my favorite teacher's pet. I can't tell you how scarce pets are these days. So this is very exciting to be here. And I think you win the prize. I'm not sure anyone has watched all of them besides you. So
I did feel
correct
good.
me if I'm wrong, listeners. But
one of them you did say, you said, I don't think anybody's still listening. I mean, who would still be watching this?
I mean, the idea originally with these, so it's not the full course. The idea was, it was like, I'm going to do highlights of the key concepts so that like students can refer to it. And I think they're important parts of maybe other people taking with an interest in data, whatever. But then as I went, I was like, it's really hard to just pull out highlights without explaining everything. So I must have said that on like, minute 20 of what was supposed to be a 4-minute video or something like that. So,
well,
is anyone out
they're
here?
not terribly long, though. I mean, they're like 20 minutes, 25 minutes, something like that. They're bite-sized.
Yeah.
I crammed through them in like 3 or 4 days. I'm really
amazed.
enjoyed it. Yeah, I
wow.
loved it.
Well, thank you for watching. I actually have a few more that I never published, but I think they're more like wrap-up sort of thing. So if you if
I noticed
after
it didn't
a while,
end.
Yeah, just sort of end. You're just like, then goodbye. No, there is something of a goodbye that I need to post the final season, I think.
To be able to tell that we're done. Well,
yes.
let's start at in the middle of this. There's so many things I want to ask you about, but let's start in the middle with, so what is a data scientist?
So a data scientist, if you ask anyone, they'll probably tell you like 200 different answers. Like, I don't even think a data scientist has a concrete definition of a data scientist, but my version of a data scientist is someone who uses data and science to make discoveries about the world. And you might be asking yourself, isn't that just regular science, Andrea? And the answer is kind of, yes. And I prefer a more inclusive definition than a more specific one. But usually in data science, the way that we're using data, it's through computation or computationally intensive methods like machine learning or other algorithms or AI or whatever kind of technology is of interest to you. And so you're using computation and statistics in clever ways to learn more from data than perhaps you might if you were just doing, like a mean and a couple of scatter plots. That said, I think you can learn a ton about the world from means and scatter plots. And I think in the excitement about machine learning and all this other stuff, we've forgotten that you can learn a ton from very simple methods too. So that's part of why I'm so broad about data science. Like if you're using data and you're being scientific, I call you a data scientist.
I loved at the very beginning. I was yelling at my iPad saying, "Oh, you know what would be great, Andrea, is if you knew about that site that correlates things like the amount of cheese in Wisconsin to earthquakes in Zimbabwe, and the next lesson you put it out there to explain correlation."
Yes, Tyler, I don't know how to say his name, Tyler or her name or their name, tylervigen.com, VIGEN. Is the site. It's amazing. It's generated
priceless.
Some people have friends and hobbies. I just sit and click generate on the spurious. If you Google spurious correlations, I think you'll pretty much get to it. But it's like divorce rates in Norway correlate with droughts in Kentucky. Whatever. It's amazing. It's beautiful.
Yeah, there's usually a movies released by can't remember his name.
Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage movies correlated against other things are great. So
yes. He correlates with a lot, it turns out. I think if I ever become a conspiracy theorist, it's going to be full on Nick Cage related conspiracies. You heard it here first.
So you mentioned the idea of using data and science. And like you said, I mean, to me, that's what science is science uses data.
That's right.
And people who make decisions that aren't based on data, that bothers me. I'm all about data. But you also get into talking about, using data where you can't do an experiment to create the data. So I'm used to, okay, I developed this theory. Let's say I'm an astronomer, and I'm going to be doing, I've not the experimental side. I'm the other side that I can never remember the name of. But you create
Theoretical side.
Theoretical. Thank you. So I've developed this great theory, and then I need to be able to create a test to see whether that theory is true. And so I need to collect data and figure out whether it maps into that.
Right.
Well, astronomy is probably a bad example because you can't create that either. But
You can in like the Large Hadron Collider
There
and
you
other
go.
experiments that you do locally.
Yes, Ed, Chit Chat Across the Pond number 806 is the episode that you can listen to that standalone if you want. If you don't want to listen to the NosillaCast again, since you already heard most of it here, but you didn't hear all the interviews. It's hard to say. Data, nice, Steve.
We don't need no stinking data. He was not happy.
All right, I'm going to close this out here. Do you see what I mean when I said she is awesome? I had such a great time with her. I hope she can come on the show and talk about more stuff later. Maybe I'll ask her about what it's like to be a circus performer next time. I don't care. I want to talk to her all the time. But that is going to wind us up for this week. Did you know you can email me? Actually, I'm going to expand that. Remember, there's a link in the show notes directly to that interview if you want to send it to somebody else because you're as excited as I am. And in the show notes, you can also find a link to the video series, Data Science for Everyone. And I hope you go even check out the first one, see if it's as fun as I said it was. But that's going to wind us up for this week. Did you know you can email me at allison@podfeed.com anytime you like? If you have a question or suggestion, just send it on over. Remember, everything good starts with podfeed.com. You can follow me on Mastodon, podfeed.com/Mastodon. If you want to listen to the podcast on YouTube, where do you want to go? podfeed.com/YouTube. If you want to join the conversation, you can join our Slack community at podfeed.com/Slack, where you can talk to me and all of the other lovely Nosilla castaways. You can support the show at podfeed.com/Patreon or with a one-time donation at podfeed.com/donate. If you go there, you can pay with Apple Pay or any credit card. Or if you like PayPal, podfeed.com/PayPal. And if you want to join in the fun of the live show, head on over to podfeed.com/live on Sunday nights at 5 p.m. Pacific time and join the friendly and enthusiastic Nosilla castaways. Thanks for listening and stay subscribed. Who does she remind you of?
Her voice. Does that sound like anyone else you know or have heard?
I don't know, but I will tell you a funny story. We were interviewing a woman about a planter for growing like lettuce and stuff inside your house. And I started talking to this woman. And I said, "You really remind me of somebody." And she said, "Well, I've been told I have like a doppelganger named Andrea." And this woman looks very, very much like Andrea Jones Roy. And she would, let me see, I'm trying to find her picture. Where did it go? Where is it? Oh, I hope I didn't lose that picture. No, you can't see that photo. Shoot. I think we lost the photo, Steve.
Are you sure it was you took a photo of...
Oh, there she is. Yeah. Let me do this and bring it into here. And this woman, it's not a perfect resemblance, but the way they talk, she was very familiar. Come on, go. There we go. Oh, I didn't mention this on the show, but we saw Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, that's right.
And I didn't get a picture with him. I went up and chatted with him. I told him to say hi to Martha. He was shilling for a company called Lockley. Now, Chuck didn't think it was really him, but God, he looked like him. And he had, everybody was taking their picture with him. He had real skinny legs. If you've ever looked at Snoop Dogg.
He was quite tall, as Snoop is.
His waist is really, really small and slender. And this is... yeah, I know. He was there like shilling for a smart lock.
And the few words I heard him speak sounded a lot like Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, when I talked to him, he sounded like Snoop Dogg, sounded a little stoned, you know. But anyway, Yes, that woman is a doppelganger for Andrea. Listen to this. Thanks for listening and stay subscribed. Oop. Bumped it. Sorry. Stay subscribed. All right, what's your chapter count, Steve? I get 7.
Uh-oh, I haven't been counting. I get 7.
Yes.
7.
Sorry. Stop it. So, Kevin, I didn't make that many mistakes. Are you disappointed? Oh, that's why I told him. I said, you were fantastic. You were the best part of the Olympics. We would stop everything just to watch Snoop. Kevin's sad because I only made 1 mistake. So far, hey, there's still hope, Kevin. I got a lot more production work to do here still.
That you do.
All right. Well, I am exporting the file. Do we need to chat about anything else before I let y'all go?
You are having a show next week. There's nothing that would
there's
stop
nothing,
that.
Yeah, nothing to stop us for quite a while here.
Yeah. Should be good.
All right. Signing us off. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, Podfeet.
I don't know what's happened to Rose, but I'll